John Owojori is a man on a mission. Ensuring Canadian roads are filled with well-trained drivers is part of his daily routine. Today features one of those moments. He is taking a client on professional tutoring in preparation for a mandatory driving exam.
Basically, I'll give a 30-second summary of what the expectations are. The pass mark is 9 and 10 is fail. It's negative marking, meaning that if you lose more than 9 points, it's a fail.
The Nigerian-born Canadian is licensed by the provincial governments of Saskatchewan to offer training to would-be drivers.
So anybody training or teaching students who are going to be writing exam, the road exam with SGI, has to be licensed.
Africans, especially those used to driving in big cities, arrive in Canada to meet totally or slightly different driving conditions that they must adjust to. For example, driving on snow is alien to most Africans south of the Sahara.
A lot of people fail because, especially Africans, because they are not able to adjust quickly to the driving situation here. For example, somebody that has been driving in Lagos on the Third Mainland Bridge and goes so far, but now is trying to merge on the highway, suddenly becomes a little bit afraid. And I'm like, you've been doing this for so long. Sometimes just driving a different environment puts a little bit of stress on people, and people have to understand that you have to just relax.
When you see a car beside you, you can't go. But when it's behind you and your speed is good, you are fine. That car you are worried about, I saw him, but he was behind you. But because you were reducing your speed, he was catching up with you. It was even nice because he was slowing down for you.
Perhaps the most common problem with people taking driving exams in Canada, which leads to demerit points, is shoulder checking.
Almost everybody coming from everywhere don't do shoulder check. Even, like people coming from the United States. I've seen that they may not, be accustomed to doing that. And that's one component of our driving here in Canada that's a little bit different from other parts of the world.
Data shows first-time pass rates vary significantly by province. For instance, while it may be up to 1 in 2 persons passing driving tests in Ontario, it is less than 40% in a place like Saskatchewan, where immigrants from Africa would have to contend with much tougher conditions in winter, the occasional blizzard, or regular blowing snow making driving extremely tasking, with snow covering road markings. Canada is a vast country, the second largest in the world, and situations even in this one country can be very dissimilar per province. This is significantly so with driving conditions.
Here in Saskatchewan, you can see, if anybody is staying outside, you can see how much snow we have on the ground. And you can drive in BC and you have, hardly had so much snow. So driving in Canada is essentially, the rules are essentially the same from province to province. But of course, you have to adjust that based on the traffic situation, the weather. If you drive in Ontario, for example, I've seen people who have licenses in Saskatchewan and they are driving in Ontario and they are feeling like, I'm scared. Because you're driving on a road that's like 12 lanes.
These are realities that make even an African with over 20 years driving experience back home struggle to pass Canadian driving tests. But what is the main cause? Is it their mental disposition during the exam, or poor preparation, overthinking the process, or even overconfidence behind the wheels?
It's a little bit of everything. I think most people, I've seen people that are overconfident actually. Somebody told me he did the exam and he was using one hand to drive because he wanted to show the examiner that I can even operate the car with one hand. And that on its own is -5 each time you do that.
And it was like in his country of origin, like if you use one hand, it's like you're a good driver. But no, you always have to have your 2 hands on the steering. And in 9 and 3 position if possible, or 8 and 4. I've seen awkward people do 12 and 6 sometimes too.
So some people, it might be a little bit of being overconfident. Some overthink it, like, you see a red light, you're supposed to stop, or you're like, I don't want the guy to think that I'm hesitating. And even though, yes, you shouldn't hesitate, but it's a red light. So because you're overthinking it, you see a red light, your mind doesn't process the red light well. You think about hesitation, then you turn right on the red light. You're like, whoa, I've seen that happen to a lot of people. Like, I know this thing, but I couldn't just get myself to stop because they're overthinking.
Cultural influence from back home can also get in the way, especially with African immigrants. Owojori shares some of his most interesting moments teaching drivers in Canada.
I was teaching a woman how to drive, go march with very good speed on Taylor Street. And as we headed there, she started speaking in tongues. But then she wasn't increasing her speed. I said, increase your speed. But she was scared. And I'd taken a guy for the road test, and after he passed, he just started weeping seriously. Weeping. You know, I'm like, he said, you don't know how much this means to me. He said, this is my 6th time. So my advice to everybody is that enjoy the process. You know, go through the process, learn it properly. And once you have your license, you can be like, I know I'm going to be driving safe.